Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Reactor, and this is Quinn, and today's article comes from Reuters.com and says, Putin says Russia will retaliate if U.S. quits nuclear missile treaty. Agencies. Like, what does agencies mean? Like, what?
Don't know.
But, so, the way they're trying to phrase this is that Putin is going to nuke the U.S. if we cancel a nuclear missile treaty.
I don't know about nuking, but...
That's what they're trying to make it seem like.
Right, but it's like, it's just another way for them to say, hey, be scared, there's something isn't going to happen.
But if we get out of the nuclear missile treaty, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? No one's going to start shooting missiles around.
Don't like... Didn't Russia's nukes mostly, a lot of them disappeared during the end?
Like, they dismantled a lot of them during
people, I mean, I know somebody...
That was the treaty, I think.
Right. I mean, people own some of the, like, the missiles and stuff that they had. I mean, it's got sold, some of it, on the black market. Somebody's got a nuke in their backyard somewhere.
Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Monday that the Kremlin would retaliate if the United States withdrew from the 1987 Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, Russian news agencies reported. Yeah, so I guess that was the end of the Cold War. After USSR dismantled into Russia or something, we made a treaty, I guess. Putin discussed possible Russian retaliation with top Russian Defense Ministry officials and added that the Kremlin was ready to discuss INF treaty with Washington. The Cold War era treaty, which rid Europe of land-based nuclear missiles, has come into question against a backdrop of renewed tensions between the West and Russia, most notably over Moscow's 2014 annexation of Crimea and role in eastern Ukraine. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has accused Russia of non-compliance with the 31-year-old missile accord and warned it will pull out of the deal as a result. The Kremlin denies violating the pact. So, that's weird. Doesn't Trump work for Putin, supposedly? Like, how are we at ends with them?
I thought everything was okay because they were doing lunch together and all these things.
Everyone wanted us to go to war with Russia.
Everyone's trying to make it so Trump and Putin are at odds and they're disagreeing, trying to make it seem like, Putin is this warmongering, terrible person.
I mean, he's probably not the greatest guy in the world.
But they're also trying to make it so Trump and Putin shouldn't meet and they shouldn't be friends.
Like
it's just two good old boys out for a Saturday afternoon brunch.
Regardless, Russia's a world power.
Right.
Why would the news and like the left, I think especially, hate the idea of Trump being friends with Putin? I think that would be a wonderful idea. Like, let them be friends. Like that kind of guarantees no war with Russia. And that's like one of the main things I care about. No world wars,
Right.
Yeah. NATO and Russian envoy addressed the dispute during rare talks on October 31st, with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg urging Moscow to make quick changes to comply in full with the treaty. He said Russia's development of the land-based intermediate-range SSC-8 cruise missile posed a serious risk to strategic stability. European leaders worry any collapse of the INF treaty could lead to a new destabilizing arms race. No, I think that's ridiculous. Like, what's wrong with an arms race anyway?
Isn't there always an arms race?
Missiles?
I mean, there's always an arms race. To think that this country has no land-based nukes before this SSC-8 thing is completely just ridiculous, in my opinion. They've got missiles. They're probably pointed at every continent on Earth.
What was it? Mutually assured destruction. No one wants to use nukes because it's the end of the world. It is. One nuke gets launched. The only time we were able to do it and get away with it was on Japan. And that's actually, my belief is that was an experiment.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that.
Yeah, they said, we need to use nukes on people to see what happens, but you cannot use it on people. Well, we're at war right now.
Right.
We can hit Japan.
It was a dick move that, saved a lot of lives, but at the same time took so many lives. What a tragedy.
And as far as I know, there was no, it was civilian populations that were nuked. Or atomic bomb isn't a nuke, I guess, but it's close. And I guess, it was really nothing compared to the biggest nukes that have been made.
If that bomb had not been dropped, those two bombs had not been dropped, I believe that a lot of people in the U.S., there's quite a few who may not have even been born from the baby boomer era of, because trying to get into Tokyo, the soldiers couldn't make it. They were the Japanese were too tough. They couldn't get in.
Yeah, I guess it did end the war, but still, I don't think we had to nuke civilians.
No, absolutely not.
Isn't that what terrorists do? They attack civilians?
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
The United States is kind of
They're
terrorists.
bully on the playground.
Like if you nuked like their largest military base, and I could be wrong, maybe Nagasaki and what was the other one?
Hiroshima.
Maybe there were military bases, but still, I know civilians. If one civilian's caught in the crossfire, that's too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because you don't, like that civilian could have even been against the war.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them probably were. You know, civilians don't have anything to do with war. I mean,
Right.
they can vote on it, but
I
for the
think-
most part, you're pulled into war.
Yeah, I think the majority of people don't even want war
Yeah.
at all. They just want peace.
But
And-
if a nuclear strike could end a war, I guess people would be in favor of that. But not if you're the one getting nuked. I don't know. I just think it's really wrong that we nuked
yeah,
civilians.
I actually completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, so basically, they were trying to make us think that there's some sort of, like, how is this even an issue? You know, like, no one's going to start mass producing nukes and start launching them.
Yeah, but if
I
they,
kind of am not afraid of nuclear war.
I honestly think they already have the nukes. I think that they've always had them, and
They'd be fools to not have nukes.
I just think that
Like,
maybe
any country that doesn't have nukes is foolish. Even
mean-
like the third world countries that can't even get close to making a ballistic missile.
I mean-
You should probably have one.
the U.S. isn't the only one who has the technology and the trickery. I mean, the U.S. was using inflatable vehicles and planes and stuff to make it look like their air force was bigger than it was in
Really?
World War II. Yeah, they would inflate these giant cars, trucks, and planes to make the enemy think that they were greater than they were, which is kind of goes back to like that whole like Genghis Khan
Yeah, I was gonna say,
riding into
Two horses that have dummies on them.
you know, riding into battle like that so that your army looks greater. And I mean, I honestly think the same could be done with like camouflaging your weapons that you want to use. With
Make
all,
it look like you have less.
yeah, I mean I'm just guessing that they already have it. So they already have the missiles. They're already pointed everywhere. Nobody wants them to go off,
Uh-huh.
and if they do, a lot of the population would be upset.
I guess so. The real issue here is that the U.S. thinks that Russia isn't following the treaty, like that they're making a bunch of nukes. But I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure we've got nukes ready to launch halfway across the world, and we also have defense systems that'll shoot them down halfway across the world. They just did a test or something where they launched one from some Pacific island, I think, and then from like California they launched defense to knock it out, just to
Right.
test, see how it worked.
I don't think they really have a system to like blow up nukes that are coming into the atmosphere.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
I
Because I know like I read Ronald Reagan, the president, wanted to create like some kind of laser grid that like would blow up missiles coming into the
Like,
U.S.
I don't know. I think a radar works just fine, unless it's a stealth missile, which is, oh god, dude, that's scary.
I mean,
I'm sure they've made them, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it would all be over so quick that personally, I wouldn't even know if I'm still eating Skittles or not. You know, It'd just be
That's if you
done
get hit
directly in
ground zero, they call it, or whatever.
like the eye of the.
You don't want to die in the radiation. You don't want to melt slowly or fall apart, have your DNA slowly crumble on you while you're like.
Yeah, because I mean,
alive.
even the game Fallout, they don't even really prepare you for the physical deconstruction of the radiation. It's just so far fetched. You'd be dead within hours. Probably.
Yeah, but I guess you could go underground and
Wait
yeah.
it out with beans and
Yeah, it's no life.
water.
Yeah, nukes would just destroy the Earth. The Earth would be destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure the fallout from Hiroshima and back from World War II, I'm pretty sure it's gone now. But I don't know. Yeah, nukes are insane. I wonder if there's a more powerful weapon we can make. Only problem is, like, how big can you make a missile explosion before you're just killing everyone at that point?
Well,
you know?
I did-
a bomb that could make an explosion as big as Earth. Do we need that? Do we want that?
I don't know.
You
I
die.
read about like Egyptians. Ancient Egyptians had some kind of a drum that could knock down walls, and it could like. So I think sound could be a weapon.
It
I'm
is.
pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
the
yeah.
government
I
has
know they
things
have
where they
those.
could shoot a beam at someone
Sound
and
cannons.
make them explode from
No,
pressure of
They-
sound.
There's a sound. It's a low bass frequency that can make you shit your pants.
I don't doubt
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, that's
I-
probably the first grade version of what I was talking about. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, and then first it's number one, then it's
I
number
saw-
two, then it's like. exploded.
Like 10 years ago, I was looking at like weird car alarms, and one of them was a car alarm that made this weird pulse noise that disoriented people.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool, but I couldn't afford it at the time. It was like $400, and I was like, I don't want to waste.
I think I've
$400.
seen that. Yeah, it makes your knees shake, and you
It'll
sort
mess
of
you
go
up,
number
make
one
you shit your pants.
or two. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I guess one would be.
One would be preferred because you could get away, you know, with some of your dignity. But if you turn it up to volume 3,
if you had to do 1 or 2 in public, I would take 1.
Not good. So anyone who may be going on Shark Tank, you want to invent something.
I made this. Yeah, I made this bubble that when people go in it, they shit themselves. Like, how do we make money off that?
Can we try it on one of you sharks?
Yeah. I don't know. You have anything else you want to say?
No.
Yeah, that's it for the article. They're trying to scare people into thinking there's like a nuclear world war coming. I feel like maybe they're not really saying that, but that's kind of what I'm getting from this, But other than that, leave a thumbs up if you like the article or the video, if you like the video. Leave a comment, let us know what you think, and check our Patreon link in the description if you want to help us, because that'd be awesome. And thanks for watching.